Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness, down the river of tranquility, to fill the lake of life with love.
And good evening, our fellow lovers of love out there, and welcome to yet another journey through, I don't even know what we're going to call it today, because we're talking with teenagers, and going through teenagers is a journey. It's a journey of something.
It's like herding cats.
No. Well, okay. For one, we were actually lucky. Okay, I was lucky.
I was lucky.
So we didn't have, now whether it's lucky or good or a combination thereof, who knows. But personally, my thought is, your teenage years are actually a reflection of how you brought them up to that stage. So hopefully you did a good job before they get to teenagers, and it makes those teenage years a little bit easier. So, but anyway, we're here to talk teenagers, and oh my gosh, it's, you feel like you don't understand them. They don't listen to you because of course they don't. How do you help them navigate the challenges of high school social life, and trying to figure out who they are when they have no idea who they are? And we all struggle with that. All of us who have raised teenagers struggle with that. So we're going to talk to you about those common issues, the path teens face, the differences, because one of the differences is the world we try to prepare our kids for is not the world they will exist in. We try to prepare the kids for the world as it is now. They have to live in a world that doesn't exist yet. And so we're really, in many ways, we do a disservice by overly scripting their lives because we don't really know. But that's what we're going to talk about. And, whether you have a rebellious teen, the shy one, the happy-go-lucky, or, whatever kind of teenager you have, we're going to see if we can help you cover it. And then, of course, the second half of the show, we've got the questions from Reddit. And just so you know, we do have a Reddit subreddit now. We haven't done anything with it yet, but we do have it. One of these days, I will learn how to use it. All right. So we will learn how to use it, but it's there. I'll talk to our administrative assistant about that, who set it up for us, and we'll start thinking about how to do that. It's Anthony. It's my no longer teenager.
No longer teenager. Yeah.
He's far past a teenager. So, God, I hope he doesn't watch this one. All right. So we're going to start. Just called him a teenager, non-teenager. Anyway, yeah. He'll understand what I was talking about. All right. 10 parenting tips for raising teenagers. That we're going to start. And before we go there, you can find all the links to the articles we cover, references, the questions and whatnot at latenightLove.us. And you can send any of your own questions to us at love@latenightLove.us. And we will be happy to answer them on the air.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it's not really air, is it? Unless we go onto the radio station and then it'll be on there. All right. Anyway, it's a whole another thing. Okay, so what do you got?
Well, we have 10 parenting tips. Okay, number 1, give kids some leeway. You have to give them a chance to establish their own identity. And that means giving them some independence and help them to establish their place in the world.
Yeah, I always called it with mine. I give them a big sandbox to play in. They go knock themselves out. They're free to make mistakes within that sandbox. I got your back. You're all good. You step outside of that, the wrath of God will come on down on you. There's no graduation scale. You stay in the sandbox, everything's great. You come outside, it's the wrath of God. There's no graduation.
I had very, very loose rules.
Yeah, but
I used to tell them, your life, you go outside the rules.
Yeah.
And life as you know it has ended.
Yeah, you give them solid boundaries, but within those boundaries, you give them a lot of leeway, and they can thrive that way because they need boundaries. they need them. But at the same time, they need those boundaries to be pretty dang wide so they can find out who they are and what they're interested in and all that, and learn and grow and develop and fail. Because we all know, sadly, failure is
Failure is a big part of life.
it's part of life, and learning how to deal with it is also a part of life. Okay, so what's next?
Choose your battles wisely.
Yeah, stop thinking them as battles, frankly, would be my better idea. You know, choose your pressures wisely, would I say. Choose what you're going to pressure them with and on wisely.
Yeah. They give examples, doing themselves harm or doing something permanent like a tattoo. Those things matter. But purple hair, a messy room, don't sweat it.
Yeah, messy rooms don't matter so much, well, unless you get an ants or something. But yeah, if they want to do something funny with their hair, hey, they're the one who has to look stupid, right? Not you. Everybody just thinks, oh, poor parent. No one thinks bad of you. Let them have stupid hair. Let them wear stupid clothes. They're the ones who do that. All right, it really doesn't reflect on
I
you.
actually had a parent call me at work complaining about what my daughter was wearing. And I said, is she bleeding? Then why are you calling me? Leave me alone. Don't call me at work again.
Yeah.
Over clothes.
Yeah, you want to, if you feel the need to bring it up, okay, fine. But you don't call someone at work for that. Well, nowadays you send them an email or a text. But yeah. All right. Invite their friends for dinner. Get to know some of their better friends. This is true.
By the way, her daughter won't talk to her anymore.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, invite your friends for dinner. That's a big one.
Yeah, one of the best things to do is actually to be the safe space for your, it doesn't mean it's a rules-free zone. It just means that, you're the safe, friendly area for the kids to come and hang out. I always say, I'd much rather hang out in my house than out on the streets. And so, that was always our feeling. So.
Yeah, you actually had a mother come to you and say, I remember that mother come and say, is he spending too much time here? What is he doing?
No, they're just hanging out. They're just being like, they're kind of like brothers at the moment. It's fine. It's, kids need that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can give that, because you're not only giving a space for your child, you're giving a space for another child. And you never know. It may just have a crowded home, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be a negative environment. It could just be a overly crowded environment. And, okay, well, our environment was crowded as well. It's a different crowded environment. And so
we have a quiet house. Video games, and that's about it.
Yeah, when the kids were teenagers, there was lots of yelling at video games. The hilarious thing is, do you even like your friends? And I'm a father. I know how me and my friends used to talk and converse and stuff. And so, the fact that I went, God, do you even like these friends? Yeah, but they're just playing video games, having fun. Then I have to remember, oh yeah, that's how we used to talk on the basketball court. Yeah, it's essentially the equivalent of the trash talk on the basketball court, so it's fine. It's just loud and annoying when the basketball court, that's outside. And they're inside. They got headphones on, so they don't really understand how loud they're talking.
I'll never forget. One of them got really obnoxious one night, and we're like, "Okay, you need something to eat." And so we got him a burrito, and then he went online. This burrito is really good. So he's taunting everybody online.
Of course they are. That's what boys do. That's what boys do to their friends, oddly enough. Yeah. We're awful to our friends, but, we'll die for them at the same time. We're just strange. Okay. Decide rules and discipline in advance, which you've kind of talked about that. Even though the rules, yes, the discipline, no. But you have to have some flexibility in your rules because, life changes so fast at that age. So just, and discipline, I don't know. I never decided discipline in advance because, quite frankly, it depended upon circumstance.
It really did.
Yeah. Okay.
I have been so PO'd. So angry.
Yeah, talk to me tomorrow. I'll
Yeah,
decide.
I'll decide. No, now. Tell me now. No, you don't want me to.
Yeah, trust me, you don't want me to now. Yeah, talk to me tomorrow. All right, this guy's checking in. Yeah, and nowadays, make sure they have any of those special code words when they text you and that kind of thing. Yeah, so
If they need to be out of a situation,
yeah, tell them how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, blame you. It's fine. I'll be the dick.
I have even had my daughter's friends call me when they were, well, okay, they would do heavy drugs and be out on the street wandering around Roseville. And they would call me. God knows who could have hooked up with these poor kids. And they would call me, and I would go get them and bring them to the house and make them lay down and go to sleep.
Yeah, well, this is you skipped ahead a couple of things. You got number 6 in there. Talk to teen about the risks of doing things like that, and then give them a game plan how to get out of things like that, right? So so we actually kind of skipped ahead. So we got 6 and 7. So make sure that they understand how to do it. So don't interrogate, but interested. That's the thing. Be there for when they're ready to talk to you, and they will be more likely to talk to you than if you prod them for questions.
Yes.
Yes, I know you're interested. I know you want to know, but it's the minute you start asking them questions, they're going to resist telling you. Depending upon the exact child, 7 out of 10 children.
Well, it's very innocent questions like, "Hey, how was the movie you just went to?" I mean, that's.
Yeah, they think you're trying to bust because them and Johnny smoked a joint before they went and watched the movie, and you really don't care about that. You're just interested. Hey, did you guys have a good time at the movie? And they're worried about getting caught for something. I know stuff's going to happen. I don't really want to know about. Everything fine. Yeah, sweet. Okay, was the movie any good? Maybe I want to see it when it comes out on home video, whatever it is. Yeah. So try not to interrogate them. I know you just feeling interested, so we always just have the kind of thing be there for when they're ready to talk, and they will talk. Feed them snacks in the kitchen, and you'll be surprised how fast those jaws open when they get home. Could be the munchies, but take advantage of it. I actually didn't have that much problem. That was more self-reflection than anything else. Okay, so what's next? Let kids feel guilty. Yeah, self-esteem is too big of a. Self-esteem comes from confidence, from successes, from picking yourselves up from failure, which is itself a success. So teach your kids that picking yourself up from failure is a success, and that will be the biggest boost to their self-esteem that they will ever get. Mm-hmm. Falling down isn't a failure. Failing to pick yourself up when you do is. Right? So
yes, it's what you do about it.
Yeah, and so teach them that, hey, we all fail. We all make mistakes. That happens. It's what you do after that defines success or failure.
Well, this author is saying they should feel guilty if they have done something wrong or they hurt someone.
Yeah, they need to feel those emotions. Those emotions are called what we call education. That's how you learn. I don't want to feel like that, so how do I behave later so I don't feel like that? That's the self-correcting behavior. And if we reinforce it, don't worry about it, you don't have to feel it. No, you need to feel all your emotions. It's healthier. It's healthier to create a better human being, and it's healthier to create an emotionally stable human being. It's just better. So, and the last one is be a role model as best you can. Acknowledge your failures and your successes, and it will help them acknowledge their failures and successes. Don't hide your failures because you're going to fail. You're going to fail to meet your own standards at times, and
And it helps them to know that everyone makes mistakes, and that you can admit mistakes to your teenager, ongoing mistakes, what you're working on yourself at the moment. This is a lifelong endeavor, and seeing it a part of your life um, makes a big difference in theirs.
Yeah. If you tell them that you need to acknowledge your mistakes, you need to deal with them openly and honestly, and then you don't, then they're going to think you don't need to. You just lip servicing, and just be as best, and just like anybody else, just be the best parent you can be on any given day. You'd be surprised how well the results turn out 10, 15 years later. And that's the hardest thing about raising teenagers or children, is you don't really find out
You don't.
until 20 years later if you did a good job or had any role at all. Good job, bad or indifferent, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. It's hard to know until much, much later on, which is the hardest part of raising children. All right, so what do we want to go to next?
Well, we did have 9 tips for helping your teen transition to high school, but I would like to move to 13 tips to improve social skills.
All right. Social skills are important, suppose, maybe. I don't know. Depends where they're at. So social skills refer to the ability to interact. I'm stealing this straight from the article, by the way. Social skills refer to the ability to interact with and communicate with others in a friendly, confident, and effective manner. It includes both verbal and nonverbal communication, which is the nonverbal one, which is the one people forget. Eye contact, the body language, being aware of your body language. The appropriate body language is it's not appropriate. It's being aware of your body language. Sometimes you're going to react the way you react. Engaging in conversation, empathy, sharing, cooperating, and resolving conflict. And so this is where kids get a chance to practice and fail and practice and fail and practice. And there's a lot of failure in this during the teenage years, which is why high school is such a torturous place for a lot of kids, because it's mostly failure for a lot of kids. And it's just been, it is what it is. All right, so what do we got? Where's this 13 things? Holy crap. There it is.
This one, I don't know if I really agree with this. Set specific goals. Like join 1 new activity weekly, make conversation with 2 new people per day, ask open-ended questions in conversations. Okay, I agree with this one. Maintain eye contact when speaking. But
there's some caveats here. If your child is having issues with learning how to socialize, then okay, these are decent goals. Otherwise, they're just things to tell your child, to help them. These are goals, not specific goals. Hey, try keeping eye contact when you're talking with someone, especially about an important subject. If you're talking baseball or sports or something that's not as important as if you're talking about someone's sick grandmother. There's times that are different, and learning how to ask open-ended questions, which means thinking about the other person. So these are more thought processes than they are goals, unless there's someone who is specifically struggling. Yeah. And struggling more than their peers, let's be clear, because all their peers are struggling. So if they're struggling more than their peers, it is kind of the thing. So again, it kind of becomes careful. So, observe your peer interactions. So, I don't know if you want to go taking notes about what your child is doing, but pay attention to where they're weak, and and seeing if you can figure out ways to help them practice in those areas.
I had an endearing habit of making sarcastic comments and then just saying, ha ha ha, just kidding. Yes. I did it for about a whole summer one year.
Hey man, if you're gonna go with sarcasm, you just gotta jump in with both feet. You can back out with the ha ha ha.
No, well, it was frowned upon in my family.
See, yeah, if you're gonna go sarcasm, man, you just jump in with both feet and deal with it. That's the only way sarcasm works.
Well, snarky comments, stuff like that. Endearing teen
Oh, well,
stuff.
yeah, perfectly normal teen things, trying to find their way, their own unique role in the community.
In my family,
The community. Yeah. Okay. Role play scenarios. Oh yeah, that's gonna help make your team not feel. Don't role play scenarios with your team unless they're actors. Just don't. They're not gonna want to do it. It's just gonna make them. Just talk to them about the theory. They'll be all right. Okay, expand their interests.
It gives you something to talk about.
Yeah.
And who share the interest.
And the thing about expanding their interest is just opening their areas of opportunity. Don't force them to do anything, but make sure they know that just keep presenting them different opportunities, and eventually they may find one that interests them.
Like clubs at school, volunteering, taking classes like on the weekend, like cooking, arts and crafts, or coding, reading books.
Or there's media classes that the teens find interesting. Check your local public access station, and they have classes, and they can teach them how to use camera equipment and things like that. Something more technical, more interesting like that. They might be, and think of them as workshops, not classes. Workshops. That way, because classes, teens are going to think they're sitting in a classroom, taking notes. So workshops. They're reading books. Telling teens these days to read books is silly. Learning opportunities. Okay, is a better way to look at that one. All right. Improve communication skills, blah, assertive speech. We just blast through some of these. Some of these are kind of. It's not that they're wrong. It's just that they're presenting them in a way that's not going to be very helpful to teenagers. How's that? I mean, all these things are correct. They should learn how to have more assertive speech. They should be good at active listening, and they should be good at reading cues. But the only way you become good at these things is by discussing the theory and then just going out and
doing it.
You can't. So the best you can do is sit down and have a few conversations and just let them apply those conversations in life as it comes up. Turning it into a curriculum like they're doing here.
I know, right?
It's not what they're unless again they're having real serious trouble with it. Then of course, if they're having serious trouble with it, you look for a serious answer. But all right, let's go on to the next one. So what do we got?
Expand media. Oh, the next one?
Yeah, let's just move on because that one's not a very good one.
All right.
We're just going to be sitting here ripping it apart the whole time.
17 activities to do with your teenager. With your adult, what do you do with these kids,
Yeah, that's the hard one. What do you do and how much time is too much time? How much time, you want to spend time with a teenager, but, there's only so much time and they need to be out socializing and practicing all these skills we've just talked about. So how much time is that? And it's, and teenagers become less engaged with family as they become more unique individuals in themselves. They're trying to figure that out. But how do you keep those strings attached so when they're ready, they still feel free to come back? Okay, so a few nuggets to consider what they said. 9 to 13. This is actually the most important part of raising a teenager right here. Set the base, the 9 to 13-year-old. So keep the areas of communication. That's when you're really setting your boundaries. At 13 to 15 years, they're setting their friends and family peer group. All right. So activities to do with teenagers. We're just going to pass all that.
Scroll down.
Okay. Where we at? Volunteer. Okay. Volunteer with animals together.
Okay. Yes.
So especially if you have one who's an animal lover, this works really well. The zoo or the animal shelter or something like that. Animal shelters are always looking for volunteers. Oh, this is a good one. Let the teen drive the golf cart.
Yeah.
So, take up golf, play golf with your teen. It's not a bad one.
Go on a graffiti crawl.
Yeah, if your teen likes graffiti, tour a college, if that's their thing. If you like going to colleges, touring these things. Again, all these are make sure is their thing. You're not all 13 are going to apply to every kid.
Every kid, no.
No, you'll be lucky if your kid applies to one of these 13 things.
To one.
Play
Right.
family stock market games. That's actually not a bad one. A used book sale if you've got a reader. Normally your daughter would be that one. But if your son likes to read comic books or whatnot, let him read comic books. Go off and help him. Go ahead and go with you to the car detailer. Sit down and have some ice cream together while your car is getting detailed. That's actually, whether it's their car or your car, that's actually a good thing to do because all you have to do is wait. That's a good time just to sit down and let them talk to you. It's a good time to not interrogate them. Just allow the conversation to happen while you're out there waiting for the car to get done. You're sitting down there.
Yeah.
Waiting for it to get done with some ice cream or Taco Bell or whatever it is, and you're just kind of hanging out. Those are good times. Okay, so
Do a polar bear plunge? No thanks.
Yeah, like I will say, some of these won't apply to the parents either. So some things to do with your teenage daughter. Those were teenage boys. Did they say?
No.
Yeah. No, I guess not. Nice activities to do with teenagers. Anyway, all right. So teenage daughters. Some things to do with your teenage daughters. Let's see.
Post a photo shoot.
Starring them. Hey, we got a big green screen. We could help out with that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Let them redo your wardrobe.
Oh, good Lord.
Teach them how to start a fire.
There you go. That's a good one.
Take them to the oh, that's a dad and teenage daughter.
Yeah, because this one's got let your daughter pick her nail colors. Drive into the city. God, who is this written for? People of the Hamptons? Drive into the city. Things to do with dad and teenage daughter. Help them drive your tractor. What do these people think? Who is these? One is driving. Okay, so maybe they're written for rural people driving to the city.
Take them to the gun range. This is rural.
Yeah. Okay, gun range is a good one. Actually,
you should fire a gun.
You should learn how to do that.
You should,
especially if you're in a rural area.
Yeah, because they probably already have if they're in a rural area. But if they need to know how to handle a gun if they come across one in life. I
have a Facebook acquaintance who has just taken up shooting as recreation. And she says it's very strange for her to go to the range by herself. She says it just feels strange because it's mostly all you get is men, and the few times women do go, they're always with somebody. And so she says it's very empowering. Oddly enough, she walks in with her gun by herself. She's surrounded by a bunch of men with guns, and she doesn't feel intimidated. She walks in. She says it feels strange, but it's not intimidating because she's just like them. She puts her guns down. She goes through the whole same safety procedures of the whole 9 yards, and she's feeling proficient. She's starting to feel proficient. So it's just like anything. When you become proficient at something, there's a self-esteem boost. That comes with that. Yeah. And especially when you're a single mother and you're part of this is so you feel, like you can protect you and your daughter if need be, because you're living in a relatively rural place. It's these are skills and boosts that lots of young women don't get. So that's actually a good one. And you're talking to someone who doesn't shoot a gun. I'm a bow and arrow person. I'm an archer type thing. So I don't like to bang. Okay. Family activities, play a high stakes board game. Yeah. Well, hey, man. Ooh, free pass, a chore pass, movie night. Hey, just give them cash. Whoever wins gets $100.
Make $100.
Hey, man, make it that you want a high stakes. If everyone wins, wins $100. If your dad gives you a reason to not to lose, doesn't it?
Make it 50. They'll still play.
Nah, make it 100. Okay, make the pot 100. The winner gets 50. Second place gets 30, and third place gets 20. Loser gets none. Anybody else gets none.
Okay.
No, man, because I have as good a chance of winning as anybody. I want to win my $100 back. Make your own pizza night if y'all like to cook. And what else we got? And that's about it. And yeah, good. We're out of time. I just want to say, raising teenagers, it's one of those things. I think the myth to it is more intimidating than the reality, in my personal view. If you love your children, you spend time, you can really do a lot of screwing up, and they will still turn out fine.
Yes.
So if you try as hard, you try to be the best parent you can be on any given day. You can try and be a better parent tomorrow than you were today, better parent next year than you were last year. You know what? It's all likely going to turn out okay. There are exceptions to those rules, but there's exceptions to every rule. You can do everything right. And
yeah, I got one.
And
who reminds me of all my past mistakes.
Yeah, so it's going to be what it's going to be. You just do your best, and the chips will fall where the chips will fall, and because they're going to fall there anyway. So just hang in there. It's not as bad as you think. Don't let it become worse than it is. I think a lot of parents let raising teenagers become worse than it really is. They stress over it more, and they create more angst than there really has to be.
Yeah.
So try not to do that. Is my biggest suggestion to raising teenagers. That, and what is it? Teenagers, what is it? Red Green, one of our favorite people say, raising teenagers is like playing with firecrackers. It's best to set them off over there and just cover your eyes. There's another way to look at it. So there's two ways to raise your children. Do it with love, kindness, and compassion and care, or just, let them go and cover your eyes like a firecracker. Hope they're not near you when they explode. All right. So what do we have for questions tonight, Lovey?
Well, we start with relationships as always.
Okay.
Do I, 37 male, tell my wife, 35 female, I think our friend went fishing?
What?
Came on to him.
Oh, no, just leave it alone. Because you could be wrong.
Well, the full story, she didn't out and out say, would you do it with me? But she's like, so what she knew he was out of town, so she called him up, so what are you doing tonight? Busy. He was smart enough to say he does not like putting himself in situations like that. So he doesn't want to risk it.
That's how you deal with it. If it's its only time, leave it alone unless it becomes a thing. There's nothing to deal with at this point. Because most likely he's nipped whatever may or may not have been there in the bud, and it's just, so it's not going to come up. Why make a bigger thing of it than it needs to be? Because it's nothing. At the moment, there's nothing to make of it.
Yeah.
If there was something to make of it, maybe she was just wanting to have someone to go hang out with. She wasn't really, and he's still smart enough to not go put himself in that position, quite frankly. That's still the right thing to do. But, maybe he was misinterpreting it, the conversation. It's always that point.
Yeah.
He's feeling away and lonely, and she's being a little breathless or something because she just ran to or was just doing something. Actually, just came off of a gym exercise.
No.
Or who knows? I don't know. There's 100 things that could cause a misinterpretation of these kind of things. And so unless there's something to actually deal with, then there's nothing to actually deal with. That would be my thing. What? But of course, I miss all these things all the time anyway. So what the hell do I know?
I had to hit you over the head with a 2x4.
So you're asking, actually, this probably is the wrong question, the wrong person, because I wouldn't notice in the first place. All right. So what would you do then?
What would I do?
Yeah. Well, that's such easy.
Well, you could bring it up to the wife. But that might, like you said, though, nothing happened. She didn't out and out proposition him. So, but that's next.
Well, maybe. Or she just wanted a friendly person to go spend some time with because she's been alone for months and she just wanted a friendly human being to have dinner with. You know, men and women are allowed to have dinner together without it leading to something more.
Yes.
So we're all depending upon the interpretation of his interpretation of her motivation for the phone call.
Yes.
It's not enough to bring up a thing. Right? There's just too much, there's too wide a margin for error. Let sleeping dogs lie.
If
it becomes a problem,
wait for it.
Yeah.
Wait for her to proposition out and out.
Yeah. Don't let it be. Don't create a problem until there is a problem.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Came home from vacation and my 29 female boyfriend, 30 male, said he doesn't want to be together anymore. What happened?
He was already thinking of it before the vacation, and when on vacation he realized he didn't miss you. And so the signs were probably there before. And you missed a question, by the way. And so that's what happened. The relationship was already on the rocks, which is probably why you all had separate vacations. And he just realized during the time that he didn't want to do it anymore. Nothing wrong with that. It happens.
Yeah.
It's just part of life. It's sad, but it's part of life. These things aren't likely necessarily about you in particular. You guys are no longer in the same space. You have different goals. You don't match, and you probably know this. So I guess it doesn't really surprise you. You really think about it. Women are rarely surprised. Okay. They might be ignoring, but they're rarely surprised.
Well, not really, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's next?
Okay. I'm no longer attracted to my 31 male. 28 female. I'm no longer attracted to my husband, 31 male. After he cheated, how do I repair the relationship?
You likely don't, but the chances are is, one, it's not about attraction. It's about repairing the relationship. And that's, couples counseling and dealing with whatever issues.
Repairing trust.
Yeah, and that takes time. That takes time because, the attraction wasn't physical. It was emotional. Long-term attraction isn't physical. It's emotional.
Yeah.
It just is. And he broke the emotional trust. And until that emotional trust is rebuilt, you're not going to have an attraction to him. You're just not. Right now, he's like a virus. You don't want nothing to do with him. It's understandable. And you're going to have to spend some time with yourself and seeing, do you even want to bother? I don't know. It can happen. You can rebuild trust. Marriages do recover from these things. It's just not easy. And you have to decide if you're up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're not dealing with counseling and all that stuff, then you're not dealing with it, and just go your separate ways. Now, if you're trying, it'll take some time. But as long as you're both honestly trying and going in the same direction, it's possible.
It's possible. It is.
Yeah. Not likely, but it's possible. I'm not going to lie to anybody.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, because the dating world is actually worse. So think about that. But, you may never, ever get that feeling back. And you're just going to have to. That's a risk.
You have to go on and build something new.
Yeah. You're not going to get back what you had.
Yeah.
You're building something different, hopefully stronger.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so what's next?
Okay. My 28 female fiance, 31 male, says he thinks of nice things to do, but doesn't do them. Advice?
Okay, you likely have someone who's like ADHD or ADD or something like that, comes with lots of ideas. But when it comes to the time to implement those ideas, he's forgotten and moved on to something else. That's what happens. And so if you ask him if he wants help following through on these things and developing a system that can help him remind him to do these things, like, hey, we have these things, Alexa and Siri and whatnot. Hey, make a note. Remind me to do X, Y, and Z on this date.
Mm-hmm.
And he may not. Again, people can be very smart and not think of simple things. And so ask him if he wants help in being able to accomplish these things too, and then help him figure out a system on how to put reminders and notes to himself so he remembers to do these things.
That's very good advice.
Don't expect him to be able to do something he clearly, despite his desire, wants to do, but for whatever reason, whatever wiring,
is incapable of doing at the moment. He needs help.
Yeah. And so, that's work with your partner, not against them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Parenting.
Yeah, righty.
How do your kids refer to their stuffed toys?
Well,
he calls his guys or stuffies.
Mm-hmm. It all depends. Some get names, some just get generic terms. There's no set thing. Children will call their stuffed toys. If they have a favorite one, it'll get a name. What is it? Calvin and Hobbes. Yeah, it'll become Hobbes, right? And if it's just a toy, then it's just a bear, or a turtle or whatever it is.
Mr. Turtle, Mr. Bear, yeah,
or whatever, or have it's just an object and they don't give it any kind of name anyway. They treat it like a chair. So there's no direct answer. There's no correct answer to that. They refer to them however they feel like it. Okay, what's next?
Would you allow your kids to spend time around an alcoholic? Now, this is a family member who has relapsed several times and is now in recovery again and is really trying, and the holidays are coming.
Yeah.
So they're trying to decide if they're willing to risk being around this person at the holidays and they get drunk and cause a scene.
Well, circumstances matter. Has this kind of a scene happened in previous holiday? Is holidays a trigger for this person?
Yeah.
Or is it not? Are they someone who gets drunk and they're a mean drunk, or are they just, kind of a sloppy drunk? Are they dangerous when they're drunk, or are they not? Circumstances matter. And what's the circumstances of being around? Would you leave kids alone with them? Probably not at this point, would be my guess. But in a family situation where you're not the only people there, it really depends on circumstances. And we don't know enough to make an informed observation. But my guess is if you're asking the question on Reddit, there's probably enough history for the question to be asked.
Yeah.
But my guess is if they're genuinely trying, holidays are a time for forgiveness and for family. The question is, help them not drink on those. Don't ask everybody at the family functions, hey, can we just not drink anything this year? Help our family member get through this holidays. don't ask them to sit at a party full of people drinking wine and champagne. Can we do that? Can you all do that? Maybe give him a present this year.
That's a great idea.
Break out the wine when they leave. What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's break out the beer and wine when they leave. It's if you can't do that, is he the only person with the problem? If you can't do that for someone you care about, who's clearly struggling with something, then there's, is he the only one with the problem? Okay, what's next?
Okay. What's your least favorite parenting duty?
I don't think of things that way, so I don't have one.
Yeah, well, I don't miss diapers, all right?
I don't miss them either, but I just I don't like putting things on a list like that. Because then you have something negative to focus on. And I don't like thinking of anything negative when I think of raising kids. So, not that there weren't negative periods of time, but I don't like to think of any of the parts of it as inherently negative. So I don't have a least favorite part. So there it is. Like, I've already forgotten about changing diapers. So, it is what it is. I haven't had to do it for so long.
Yeah, well, it was,
I raised 5 kids. So I had diapers coming
my
out.
youngest is going to be 28 or 29 on Monday. So, and I still don't miss it. I remember it vividly.
I don't anyway. All right. Of course, we had better diapers, 10 years later, oddly enough. The diaper technology skyrocketed in that decade between.
Yes, it did. We had leaky ones. We didn't have the fitting around the little legs part.
Yeah, the diaper technology skyrocketed in that decade. All right, anyway, in the 80s. Okay, so what's this last one?
Sitter for sick kids.
So
because their daughter had a cold and a little mild temperature, can't really go to school off and on for a while, and they are missing too much work. And is it okay to get a sitter?
Yeah, that's fine, especially if your job pays enough to make it justifiable, right? If you can afford a sitter, then yes. Oftentimes, paying a sitter for the kids costs more. That's why you use grandmas or aunts and uncles or whatnot. But yes, no, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly reasonable to use a sitter in that, even though I'd be more concerned about why your child is getting routinely sick.
Yeah.
Would be my bigger question than the sitter. So that would be where I would focus on. But no, by inherently, people have been doing that for decades. It's, traditionally it was aunts or uncle, grandma, or whatever, something like that, would come over and sit with them. But, the old lady from next door is perfectly acceptable, substitute kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We're going to move on to work questions.
Okay.
Start a new job. Love the company. Hate one task. What to do?
Deal with it. We all hate one task. And yeah, if you only hate one task, consider yourself lucky. And over time you can angle yourself out of that task. but for now, the new guy always gets the worst task, right? That's just the way, poop rolls downhill. You get hey, someday someone else will be there to do it. It's just your turn in the firing line. It's just what it is. When you're a janitor, you hate cleaning the women's restroom. You just do. It's the worst thing on the planet. You fight, but everybody had their turn. It's just is what it is. Cleaning carpets, vacuuming, emptying trash cans, cleaning windows, even. Right? No, that stuff is fine. No. Or that it's either the women's restroom in places like Mervyn's or those kind of places, or if it's in an office building, having to clean the floors in the little cafeteria or cafe thing is also the worst. Or nightclubs. My God, don't work nightclubs. If you're a janitor, never work nightclubs. Okay, now we've gone off the rails. Because you just come home smelling like, I don't know, stale alcohol. All right, what's next?
I'm not good at reporting employees because I'm a keep to myself kind of person. What do I do?
Well,
He's a supervisor and he's got people messing up.
oh, and he doesn't. Well, you're going to have to find a way to get it so they don't want to mess up for you. They're not going to want it. They clearly don't care. And so that's a team building thing. What you're going to have to go do is learn some leadership classes. Go take some leadership training. It's my suggestion. Google's a wonderful resource. I mean, YouTube is a wonderful resource for this. But leadership training is what you should do. And sadly, people like you, this is one of the big failures in corporate America is we don't teach. We put people in positions of leadership, but we don't train them in leadership. It's amazing. Hey, you're good at your job. We're going to put you so you're now supervising all these people who used to do the job you used to do. Now your job is to you no longer do that job that you're good at. You now supervise the people who do that job. But we're not going to train you how to do that. You're just supposed to magically know on yourself. And so you're going to have to go out and train yourself in leadership. That's my suggestion. And then you'll find your own way to do these things as you become a better leader. Okay.
Okay, I like this question. I never seen this one before.
Uh-huh.
And I'm the only one who actually really likes working.
No. Do you think those people who work 80 hours a week do it because they hate it? People like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, all those people like the grind. They like what they're doing. The key is they like what they're doing. Or they feel like they're doing something meaningful. The reason people hate their job is because they're doing something that they don't want to do. You're a customer service agent, and what you really want to be is a marketing person. But it's going to take time to get there. Right? And rather than viewing it as part of the path, you're just slogging through. So you hate working. Or maybe you're working in a warehouse, but what you really want to be is an artist. Of course you're going to hate working in the warehouse. Right? You just are. Because that's not what you want to do. Now, if you work at, say, a nonprofit, and you get paid a good wage to go off and accomplish something you truly believe in, accomplish some goal or some mission that you truly believe in, getting up and going to work is going to be very easy for you. Right?
Yeah.
So you like what you actually do is you like what you're doing. And congratulations. That's my thing. Congratulations. It's very few people who get to find that. But lots of people like working. Like the entrepreneurs like to keep working. Those people who go to work and then they come home and they work in their in their garage. They come home and they build stuff. It's because they like working. You just like doing things. And so, yeah, you're not the only one. It just seems like it because in today's popular culture, we're highlighting the opposite at the moment. It'll trend. It's just a trend. It'll change. Okay, what's next?
Okay. How can we make Congress to pass a real 40-hour work week?
What the hell does that mean? I don't know what that exactly means, but by voting for people who will theoretically do what you want. But then you have to remember you've got a whole list of other people who want to do something different. And so, politics is messy. And the chance that any one person gets exactly what you want is slim to none. So there's that answer to that. But, advocate for it. It's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
And, whatever exactly that means, be more specific. Because people already have a 40-hour work week. Do you mean like 4 10s? You mean a flexible 40? Or if you want to do it in 3 days, you can do it in 3 days as long as everybody agrees. Or, it's that is that kind of the thing. So find out what you actually mean. Become more specific. Because I don't know what that means. We already have a 40-hour work week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So define what that actually means. And then advocate for it. It's the only way. All right, what's next?
Well, we're moving on to our final segment, sex questions.
Woohoo!
Okay. Excuse me. As soon as we got married, I, female 28, stopped being sexually attracted to him, male 33. What's wrong with me?
Oh, something changed when the ring got on your finger. It's an emotional change. Or the other thing is there could be a medical change. And it just happened to happen at the same time. So go get a medical exam. Just go get a physical checkup. That would be
Yeah.
my first kind of thing. And two, what else happened? Do all of a sudden you have monetary stress that you didn't have? Is there other stresses in your life that you didn't have before? Sometimes, if you were both living separate lives and now all of a sudden you're living single lives, the lives together, maybe he has habits that you don't particularly find attractive and you just haven't settled in yet. There's 100 potential possibilities. My first thing would be to, go get a checkup just out of.
And did you start birth control? Did you change your birth control?
Ooh, that's a good one. I always forget about that. So there's a lot of things that can happen, but so the medical things, birth control is a good one. Some other medical issue or stress, and the stress of change can actually do that.
It can.
So
give yourself a break.
Yeah. Here's a question. Here's the thing. Sit down and have a conversation. And make sure you start it with, I'm worried about this. This bothers me. Okay. And start with that. That way he's not feeling that it's him. You're having a conversation about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, so that's that conversation. My guess is you probably lost some kind of connection over the hustle and bustle of a wedding and honeymoons and, restructuring your lives together and all that. So take a deep breath, settle down, and have some meaningful conversation that you probably haven't had a chance to have in 6 months. So that would be my guess. That and get a checkup.
Okay. Why do I want to have sex with every woman I know? He's 19.
Oh, because you're 19. That's why. This is the wonderful opportunity life is presenting to you. It's the ability to control that. Ability to control that thought. Ability to ignore it when it's inappropriate. It's a wonderful gift if you exercise it. And it sucks because you don't want to. They're like intrusive thoughts. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Right? But it's hormones. It's just pure, unadulterated flood of hormones. It'll get better, but it's an opportunity to learn how to control that. That's the best way to look at it. It's a learning opportunity. Because it sucks. It is. It's intrusive thoughts. You don't want these thoughts. They're not. You don't ask for them.
Yeah, he's annoyed.
Yeah, because it's really annoying. I'm trying to concentrate here.
He's trying to be a good friend, and all he can think about is, her ears, her feet up around his ears. Yeah,
it's annoying. It really is, but it's an opportunity for you to learn how to not deal with it. That's the best way to reframe it. You reframe it in your mind, and that's the best way to deal with it. Yeah, and it'll get better. It will get better as you get better at doing that as well. There's some work to that. Okay, what's next?
Is masturbation in sleep a common occurrence?
Probably more common than we think. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I bet we do.
Well, they do it, and babies do it in vitro.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's probably more common than we think. Is the short answer. Ain't nothing in life. Ain't nothing in life new. Okay, what's next?
Okay, last question. Would it be weird to ask my boyfriend, 21, to chase me, 20 female, around in a ghost mask as foreplay?
Well, no weirder than anything else people do.
That's pretty tame, really, actually.
And people dress up as all kinds of things, They play maid, and doctor, and firefighters, and policemen, and all kinds of things. So
leather.
Yeah, that's So, scary
rubber, latex.
So scary movies get her blood flowing. So hey,
very good. Just for catch me, oh no. A little bit of role play. There you go.
Yeah, hey, knock yourselves out. Whatever.
You could come up with a very interesting scenario.
Yeah, it's fine. It's gonna feel a little weird to him, likely, especially unless he's like a theater geek or something.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he's a theater geek and he gets into these kinds of things.
Yeah.
But promise him a reward and maybe he'll go for it. And use your imagination on the reward. All right, that's my suggestion.
But I had to do it just in time for Halloween.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. It's a very common question. It's for that. The generic question. The ghost face mask can be replaced with a million things, right? And is it weird for us to dress up as a maid and a business person or whatever, or as a fireman and a damsel in distress?
Yeah.
There's 100 things. It's fine. Whatever makes you guys happy is perfectly fine. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's strange or weird, or if it makes you feel weird, it makes you feel weird. So what?
I don't like the word weird. I'm replacing it with colorful.
Well, I think what she means is she feels a little weird.
She feels a little weird asking it.
Yeah, she feels a little weird about it. And that's perfectly normal. It just is. But
well, I think maybe she might be afraid of rejection.
Well, yeah, who wouldn't be? But, like I said, put a little carrot at the end of the stick and see what happens. All right. All right, that's it for us tonight. We want to thank you for joining us. Again, you can find all of our references and stuff at latenightLove.us. You can send us a love letter thingy to love@latenightLove.us. And you can find us on all your various social media platforms. Eventually, someone's commented that I didn't see. Oh, my mother. What'd she say?
You can only report it if you really want to repair it. Decide and proceed. You can only repair it if you really want to repair it.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing question. That's what I get. I couldn't see the thing because it's behind my camera. I'm gonna have to think of it better. So anyway.
Okay.
All right, we've kind of lagged this whole thing. Anyway, good night from us. Have a happy Halloween if you catch this before Tuesday night. And from me and Lubby, good night. And please remember to love everybody.
Good night.
Oops.